Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to Maddie's nutrition mailbag. I have some good topics today. Question of the day that I got is, and I get rather frequently, is should I cut dairy out of my diet? We're going to go over who should be cutting dairy out of their diets, who doesn't need to, the science behind it. And then then we're going to cover detoxing. So if you search the word detox or cleanse like in like Google, there are millions of different detoxes, cleanses, juice cleanses, so many different diets and detoxes that you can do. We're going to dive into myths about detoxes and how to support your body's natural detoxification process, because your body naturally does it. As you're joining, go ahead and comment below if you'd like and say hi. Comment any nutrition questions that come up. They can be related to what I'm talking about or not. It can be a topic that you want me to cover for next week. You can drop your email if you want to sign up for my nutrition newsletter, where I cover topics very similar to the ones I cover on my mailbags, and send recipes and other tips and resources. So we're going to get right into it. Hello to everybody who's on right now. Question of the day: should I cut dairy out of my diet? So much like sugar, dairy is often sort of demonized by the media. Lots of celebrities have claimed to cut dairy out of their diet. Khloe Kardashian claimed to have lost 11 pounds after 2 weeks of going dairy free. Many celebrities claim that they just feel better when they cut out dairy. I think Margot Robbie says that her skin cleared up when she cut out dairy. So we're going to talk about if dairy is something that's worth cutting out for you. When I say dairy, I'm talking about like cow's milk yogurt, and then cow's milk cheese, or like animal product dairy. So if it's something that you're doing for weight loss, if you haven't watched many of my videos on here, there is something that I say in almost every single video. Hi, Caroline. There's something that I say in almost every single video, and that's: there's not one food, one ingredient, one chemical, one nutrient that causes weight gain or weight loss. So like sugar, gluten, wheat, grains, carbs, meat, dairy, none of those cause weight gain or weight loss. So if you're cutting out dairy because you think you're going to lose weight from it, it's just there's no correlation between the two. So that's where you don't need to be cutting out dairy. If you like dairy in your diet, you don't need to be cutting it out by means of weight loss. If you have lactose intolerance, you may be considering cutting dairy out, but there are some other options. If you really like cow's milk, simply taking a lactate pill or getting the lactate options of milk is perfectly fine. You don't need to be cutting it out. If you really like it and you have lactose intolerance, there are options. If you have a lactose allergy, then that's where cutting out dairy would be appropriate, because it's not just an intolerance, it's an allergy. So you can be causing damage by having it, and it can be unsafe. So that's where having some dairy-free or plant-based dairy options are a good idea, and we'll talk a little bit more about those too. If you're doing it to try to clear your skin, if you're cutting out dairy to clear your skin, there is a lot of literature and some studies that suggest that avoiding dairy might improve skin concerns, as well as asthma, allergy, eczema. But so far, these studies are inconclusive, so we can't label that as fact yet. So anything that you read about, cutting out dairy to clear your skin, just note that any claims about that are based on studies that aren't conclusive. So it can't be deduced that dairy causes, asthma or acne or anything like that. If you have IBS, if you have irritable bowel syndrome, cutting out dairy, animal dairy might help reduce your symptoms of bloating and gas, diarrhea. So IBS is so specific to the individual. It's so different for everybody. So if you find that reducing or cutting out dairy in your diet reduces your symptoms of IBS, then that might be an indicator where you should go for, a plant-based dairy product. Or for some people with IBS, they can tolerate yogurt, dairy or animal milk yogurt, but not milk. So if you want to cut out dairy because you're trying to eat more plant-based for your health. So yes, so much evidence does show that eating whole plant foods, so like whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, legumes, brings better health. You don't need to be going full on plant-based or full on vegetarian, full on vegan in order to get the benefits of having a more plant-based diet. So if choosing plant-based dairy alternatives are a good option for you too, if you enjoy them and you're trying to go more plant-based, then that's fine. I wouldn't, discourage it. But if you really enjoy dairy, you don't need to be cutting out dairy in order to be more plant-based. You can eat more plants in other ways. You can try meatless Mondays where you swap out, once a week you swap out your favorite meat-based dish for a plant-based alternative. So say you like chicken stir fry with veggies, swap in tofu or tempeh. Say you like shepherd's pie, swap in lentils for your ground beef. Or just simply moving to smaller portions of your animal products and larger portions of your plant products. If you're thinking about cutting out dairy for environmental or ethical reasons, this does, have some credibility behind it, or some evidence behind it. So cows, pigs, and lamb all have the largest water, greenhouse gas, and energy impact on the environment. So choosing a plant-based alternative, dairy alternative, can be more ethical and can use less greenhouse gases and less water. But be careful, this isn't the case like across the board for all plant-based options. Some plant-based foods can be inefficient as well. Almond milk, for example, does use a great deal of water. There's a really good resource called a climate change food calculator. It's an article. If you search climate change food calculator, BBC News, there's an article that has a tool at the bottom of it where you can plug in a food that you like and how many times a week you eat it, and see how much greenhouse gases are emitted from that much of the food, how much water it uses, and the energy impact. If you're cutting it out to save money, it's true that in general going plant-based is better for your wallet, but just be wary when it comes to plant-based dairy alternatives. Plant-based cheeses, milks, and yogurts do tend to be more expensive than just like your cow's milk options. So just be wary of that. But there's no doubt that like chickpeas are cheaper than ground beef. So in that sense, generally eating more plant-based vegetarian is cheaper. So dairy, can be part of a healthy diet. Absolutely. The USDA recommends that we have 3 servings of dairy per day for a reason, because dairy, contains calcium, it contains vitamin D for strong bones, and it's a good source of protein. The way that we eat dairy in the US tends to be, higher fat options, higher sodium, higher sugar, larger portions. That's not the healthiest. Healthy dairy options include, low or no fat options of milk and yogurt, looking out for those added sugars that tend to be in, flavored, sweetened yogurts, as well as, flavored milks like chocolate milk, coffee milk, things like that. And then, recommending to have cheese in moderation. So cheese is a good source of calcium, vitamin D, protein as well, but it does tend to be rather high in sodium and rather high in saturated fat, which is the fat that's not healthy for your heart, your cholesterol levels. if you're looking for some dairy-free options, with dairy-free yogurts, like there's like coconut yogurt, soy yogurt, I think almond yogurt. Um, Also look out for the sugar content. Um, Plant-based yogurts are going to have less protein than a cow's milk yogurt. So if you're looking to have like a well-rounded snack with your plant-based yogurt, incorporate some type of other source of protein in there as well, like a scoop of peanut butter, something like that. Plant-based milks, look out for the added sugar in that as well. And then you want to pick an option that's fortified with vitamin D and calcium, so that you're reaching your goals for those vitamins and minerals. So my next topic is detoxes. So like I said earlier, if you search detox or cleanse on the internet, you get millions of results. Um, there's liquid detoxes, there's 10-day detoxes, there's green smoothie cleanses, celery juice cleanse. There's a popular one, Dr. Mark Hyman does a 10-day cleanse. Raw fruit and vegetable cleanses. So there's several myths around cleanses and detoxes that I want to get into, why people think that they're beneficial. So the first one is the idea that going on a cleanse resets your system or your body. If you're not eating super healthy lately, or you're not eating in a way that gives you energy or makes you feel good or fuels you, you don't have to do a reset to change your ways. You can start by just simply eating a little bit healthier, more fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, healthy fats. Your body doesn't need to rest or reset. And most detoxes, when they do have like that rest or reset, and you're drinking just juices or just lemon water for an extended period of time, this does the opposite of a rest on our body, because it puts excess stress on our organs, because they're trying to compensate with not receiving the most basic nutrients. It goes into a starvation mode where it's not resting, it's overcompensating and working harder. Um, the second myth is that juice cleanses help you to lose weight. Sure, you're going to drop a few pounds if you deny yourself solid food on a cleanse, or really low calorie foods, but the weight that you're going to lose is going to be all water, mostly, and intestinal bulk. So you're going to gain the weight back within a few days of going off of your detox or your cleanse, and once you go back to regular eating. Plus, you're going to increase your chances of going into a binge mode, where your body goes into a mode where you're not getting enough food. And it's a physiological change where your body just goes into starvation mode, and it's gonna, when you do have food, when you do go back to your, eating solid foods, your body's just gonna overcompensate, and you're likely gonna binge after you go on a detox. Um, it also promotes that idea of yo-yo dieting, where you're doing a cleanse and you're going back to eating your regular foods. Maybe you go back to eating, an unhealthy diet, and then you feel like you need to reset. You go back on your cleanse. It's reinforcing that yo-yo dieting, that weight cycling, which is really unhealthy for your relationship with food, as well as for your metabolism. It's just so damaging to your metabolism. Um, Nutrition wise, I mean, juice cleanses, there's a lack of calories, fiber, fat, protein, pretty much all of your basic nutrients and energy that you need, leaves you exhausted. It can imbalance your electrolytes. It can lead to, really unpleasant GI upset, including, diarrhea, because you're not getting any fiber. You're having just all liquids. There's so many different products on the market, from teas to powders to liquids, that claim to be necessary to cleanse the body. These are a huge waste of money, to be frank. They can be very harmful, and they're not regulated. Some of these ingredients could interact with medications that you take, and they're simply not worth it. Mostly because your body detoxifies itself. If our body didn't detoxify, us constantly, we wouldn't be alive. So our body does an excellent job of detoxifying us from the toxins that we get. Um, you know, our gut, our skin, our lungs, our liver, and our kidneys do that all for us already. We don't need any help from any other external juices or powders or teas, anything like that. We can do it ourselves, which is amazing. Um, so we get toxins that are created by the body during regular metabolism of nutrients, and then toxins that come from outside the body that are absorbed from eating, drinking, breathing through the skin. So our body detoxes those every single day. Um, just be wary. There's a lot of non-credentialed individuals that are claiming to be experts in detoxification. You're never going to hear a dietitian talking about a detox or recommending a detox. So just make note of that. You know, there's a lack of research to support its use of detoxes or cleanses. They pose, like I said, some risks for people with health problems, for people with eating disorders, for people who take multiple medications, breastfeeding women, pregnant women. Um, some cleanses do promote, you know, having more fruits and vegetables. That's great. You don't need to be doing a cleanser or detox to be having more fruits and vegetables. There are some ways, however, that you can support your body's own natural detoxification process. So that includes making sure that you're having plenty of water. You know, at least 8 cups a day is the general recommendation. If it's extra hot or extra cold out, if you're pregnant, if you're exercising, you need more water on top of that minimum 8 cups. Um, Eating at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day, at least. Um, Consuming plenty of dietary fiber. Most of us in the US don't get enough. Dietary fiber comes from whole fruits and vegetables, from nuts, from seeds, from beans, and from whole grains. Um, con- Consume cruciferous vegetables. This includes broccoli, Brussels sprouts, berries, artichokes, cauliflower, garlic, onions, leeks. These kind of provide nutrients that our bodies need to do the detoxification process. This doesn't mean that you should be going on a strict cruciferous vegetable diet. This means you can include these in your diet and know that they're helping to support your body's natural processes. Consume also lean proteins help to provide certain nutrients that an enzyme that's needed for the detoxification process in the body. So, in conclusion, bottom line, don't be doing a detox, don't be doing a cleanse. There's, you know, the cons heavily outweigh the pros. Most of them, I would argue, don't even have any pros. The best way to detox your body is to, you know, ramp up your natural detoxification system, stay healthy, drink your water, eat your veggies, eat your lean proteins, get your fiber in. Um, yeah. And if anybody, excuse me, has any questions about any specific cleanses or diets that they are thinking about going on or that they have been on and want to ask me about that, you can comment them below or you can message me on Facebook. We can chat. This isn't meant to put anybody down who has considered going on a detox. This isn't meant to shame anybody who is on a detox or is thinking about going on one. This is just to clear the air. There's so much misinformation out there that, you know, if you're looking for information on the internet about nutrition or physical activity, there is some good information out there, but really make sure that it's coming from, you know, if you're looking up information on exercises, look to see if it's coming from a certified personal trainer. If you're looking for information on diets or healthy eating, look for a registered dietitian nutritionist. You know, sometimes, you know, there's so many books on diets by doctors that aren't backed by registered dietitians and nutritionists. Dietitians are the food and nutrition experts. Certified personal trainers are the certified physical activity experts. So really look for your information from credentialed, certified people, qualified people, and be so wary and so careful about any sort of diet at all. If you have any questions about any diet, anything nutrition related, please hit me up. Message me. I'll be back here next Friday. Don't know what my topics are going to be yet, so message me with some suggestions, and have a wonderful long weekend, everybody. It's going to be beautiful, so enjoy the last warm days of the year. Bye bye.